From the book of Rumi, 105 Stories and Fables. 3 Fish. In a small pond at the foot of a mountain, where the water was as clear as the first drops of a spring rainfall, there lived 3 incredibly beautiful fish. They had swum in the pond all their lives and had never been disturbed by predators, until one day a few men happened to walk by and spotted them. The men quickly rummaged through their packs trying to find anything they could use to catch the fish. Soon they found an old fishing net, all tangled up, among their normally useless bits and bobs. The 3 fish watched the men as they hurried about their business noisily but didn't guess their intention and continued swimming around calmly. One of the fish, however, who was more intelligent than the other 2, became suspicious and thought it best to leave the pond as soon as possible, without confiding in his friends. He reasoned that if he shared his intention with the other 2, they'd try to dissuade him, as they were excessively attached to their home and old ways and might be unwilling to give them up. He had made up his mind, though, and was prepared to bear the consequences to save himself from what appeared to be their imminent demise. Without further delay, the wise fish took a leap and braved the fast current that flowed out from the pond, following a stream that ultimately poured into a vast sea, the opposite shore too far distant to be visible. Once he found himself in the warm waters of the sea, he felt free at last. He could swim endlessly without having to circle around time and time again, like in a fishbowl. His new life was good, and he was thrilled that he had believed in himself and taken a chance on the unknown. Meanwhile, the men continued to untangle their net, preparing to cast it into the pond. The second fish realized that she had wasted precious time and that her luck might have run out, so she began to conjure up an escape route as fast as she could. Initially, she blamed herself for not having followed her wise friend, who was now probably swimming free in the ample sea. Quickly, though, she stopped herself from dwelling on her mistake, as she knew that when the past is gone, it's gone. She could think of no plan of escape other than pretending to be dead. So she rolled onto her back and, with her belly facing up toward the sky, floated on the surface of the water weightlessly. The compliant water carried the seemingly dead fish gently on its ripples, up and down and around the pond. When the men saw the dead fish, they comforted each other that, although it was a shame to lose one, they should be grateful that they'd been spared dealing with a sick fish that was going to die anyway as soon as caught. One of the men grabbed the tail of the dead fish as she floated on her back in front of him and threw her onto dry land. Without delay, the suddenly resurgent fish gathered all her might and flipped over and over behind the men's backs until she finally found her way to the fast-moving stream that eventually took her to the salty sea. Free at last, she swam with all her strength to get as far away as possible from the shore, hoping to never again lay eyes on another human being. The third fish, however, was stupid. In a frenzy, he flopped around and around in circles, hoping to evade his captors as they watched from the bank. He proved easy to catch, however. The men simply threw their net over him and in no time had him roasting on a fire. Unbeknown to the men, while burning inside out, the fish kept repeating to himself, knowing well that it was much too late for regrets. If I could have a next time, I'd pay closer attention to my wise friends and aim for the sea, which I'd make my home and forsake this lonesome pond forever.